Hello, lovely kids. I'm Auntie Gifty, and I come to you once again on the Great Victoryland virtual class. Today, I'm going to treat a subject with you called integrated science. And we're treating the topic of living and non-living things. Now, I know when you guys were in class one, you know what living and non-living things are. We know living things are things that have life in them, and non-living things are things that do not have life in them. We also know that living things are examples like human beings, plants, and animals. And we also know that non-living things comes with examples such as books, tables, cars, dresses, chairs, furniture, and others. Now today we are going to lay more emphasis on one aspect of living things, that is plants. So by the end of today's lesson, we will be able to define what a plant is, mention the forms of plants, and draw and label the parts of a plant. By the end of today's lesson, we will be able to know and define a plant, mention the forms of plants, draw and then label the parts of a plant. Good. Now let's continue. What is a plant? I know we all have heard of plants. Do you have anything in mind when you get to hear of plants? If you do, let's see whether what you have in mind is the same as this. What is a plant? A plant is a living thing that grows on land and in water. A plant is a living thing that grows on land and in water. Examples are mango plant, okra plant, cassava plant, cocoa plant, cashew plant, and we also have plantain plant. So these are some examples, and I know you know most and a lot of them. Good. Now let's continue. So we can see plants on land. We can also see the plants in water, just as the definition said. So these are plants on land, and the one beneath or below are plants in water. Good. Now let's look at the forms of plants. Plants comes in many different forms. True. Plants indeed comes in many different forms. We have trees, which is one. Two, we have shrubs. Three, we have herbs. Four, we have grasses. Five, we have mosses. And then six, we have flowers. One, we have trees. Two, we have shrubs. Three, we have herbs. Four, we have grasses. Five, we have mosses. And then six, we have flowers. Let's just look at them one after the other. So you can see we have the tree, the shrub, the herbs, grasses, the moss, and then the flower. I hope you can see how colorful and beautiful they look. Good, now let's carry on. Now we're going to talk about the parts of plants. A plant has four main parts. Do you know that? I believe you do. Now let's look at these four main parts. We have roots, stem, leaves, and flowers. Now let's repeat this once again. We have roots, stems, leaves, and then flowers. Good. So I hope now you know what the parts of plants are and you know the four main parts. Good. Now let's move on. Now let's look at this diagram. A diagram showing the various parts of a plant. So you can see that with the parts of plants we just learned, they are being labeled here. So we can see the upper part, which is the flower. We can also see the stem. We can also see the leaves, and then we can also see the root. I believe you've seen them. Good. Now let's look at them one after the other. The roots. This is how the root looks in the soil. Now let's look at the meaning or the importance of the roots. The roots, they are hairy in small plants. So when a plant is now growing or germinating, its roots are hairy in size and small in size. Its roots are hairy and small in size. And we all know that the roots are not seen. So they are hidden in the soil, but as time goes on, some may be exposed, meaning that some parts or the upper parts of the roots shoots up out of the soil, so it can be seen. Good. Now let's carry on. Let's look at the function of the root. The roots carry water, nutrients, and carbon dioxide from the soil to the stem. The root carries water, nutrients, and carbon dioxide from the soil to the stem. They also spread in the soil to prevent the tree from falling. So if the roots stand still and then do not spread in the soil, the stem wouldn't have the firmness to stand on its grounds. So without the roots, the plants can never grow. Without the roots, the plants can never grow. So it is the help of the roots by which a tree is able to stand firm without falling. It is through these same roots that the stem is able to get water, nutrients and minerals, and also carbon dioxide into the stem. I hope now you get to know the function of the root. Good. Let's carry on. Now we have a look at the stem. I hope you can see the picture on your screen. It shows a typical example of a green stem. Now let's look at the stem. The stem is the largest part of the plant. True indeed, it is the largest part of the plant. It is hard, strong, and carries the leaves. It is hard, strong, and then carries the leaves. Good. Now let's look at the function of the stem. It connects the roots to the leaves. So without the stem, there is no way the root can get into contact with the leaves. Also, it transfers the water and nutrients to all other parts of the plant. So when it receives water, nutrients, and then carbon dioxide from the soil through the roots, it then transfers all these nutrients, water and carbon dioxide, to all parts of the plant, which are the other branches and the leaves. Good, so now you know the stem and the function of it. Good, now let's move on. Let's look at the leaves. The leaves are green in color when fresh, and we all know that the greenish part of leaves tells you that they are what? Fresh, and cover the top of the plant. We know that the leaves are always known as the crown of a plant because every time it covers the upper part of the plant. They turn brown when they dry up. They turn brown when they dry up. So I hope you can see the image of a green leaf on your screen. This tells you that this leaf is very fresh. Now let's look at its function. Function of the leaves. The leaves produces food for the plant. The leaves produces food for the plant. Now it is known that the leaves produces food for every part of the plant after it has received water, nutrients and carbon dioxide from the soil through the root and stem. So after acquiring and getting these nutrients, water and carbon dioxide, it then uses them to produce food for the whole plant. Good, so now I hope you know what a leaf is and its function. Let's carry on. Now we go on to the flowers. How you can see these beautiful sunflowers on your screen. Flowers are usually multicolored with sweet scent. We all know that flowers naturally smell good. Because of their sweet scent, they attract insects such as bees to the plant. Because of its sweet scent, they attract insects such as bees to the plant. Now let's look at the function of the flower. Functions of the flower. 1. They bear fruits for the plants. They bear fruits for the plants. 2. They beautify the plant. Now, without the flowers, the beauty of a plant might never be known. So it is the beauty of these flowers that beautifies the plant. How now you know what flowers are and their functions. Now, by now, you've gotten a fair idea about what plants are. And I said that plants are living things that grows in water and on land. We also learned about the forms of plants where we got trees, shrubs, herbs, flowers, and mosses. We also learned examples of plants like mango plants, cashew plants, cocoa plants, plantain plants, and even cassava plants. We also went on to learn about the parts of the plants, where we got 4 main parts of the plant, which were the root, stem, flowers, and the leaves. We also learn about their functions and the roles they play in plants. So by now, you've gotten the whole concept about plants and you will be able to answer these following questions. So I hope you can define a plant, Mention three forms of a plant, then draw a plant and label the parts. Take up your book and then do this evaluation and then bring it for marking. I hope you enjoyed your lesson and you've learned a whole lot. Hope to catch up with you once again on another lesson. Stay safe and beware of yourself. Take care. See you another time. Bye.
So